Yo, what's going on, guys? Kaoiji here. So a couple things I wanted to talk about is my initial thoughts on the Phantasy Star. I have 255 tasks somehow. I don't know how that happened, but cool. I'm famous. It's a visual bug. So just letting you guys know this video is going to be talking about my initial thoughts on the Retem update. I think this is a very good step in the right direction. I had to sit down and like really think about if I even wanted to make this, but I do think it's very important. Aside from some of the gear grind when it comes to the armor, and I'll get into that a little bit later into the video, there's a lot that this update has to offer. Even if it doesn't have a lot to offer straight away, once you start getting into the initial levels, you know, the first time you hit level 35, there's all these tasks that will basically help you get there. You go from level 30 all the way to just about 33. And then you do PSE bursts from then going forward. So your first 35 is basically guaranteed. Everything else is actually a little bit harder afterwards. But with all of the makings of the previous update, they gave us gigantic straight out the gate. They gave us all of these new weapon series, two new urgents. There's a new tower and all the cocoons. Even though they're still one and dones, they're definitely a lot better than the ones that we had previously. The red boxes that are available throughout the map, they're actually not too difficult to find, especially with the mag sonar that we have now as well. And then all of the quality of life updates that they gave us for this update just screams that Sega's been listening. The main story also fucking great. It's not as long as I'd want it to be, but it's definitely longer than the one that we got in Central Alia. It didn't have too many gaps in it where it's like, okay, time to hit this battle power. It didn't feel like a tutorial. It felt like I'm actually playing the game. So that's actually really cool. I think the only gripe that people are going to have if you guys have been waiting to get back into the Phantasy Star for this update, or maybe you're still on the fence, is there's still not as many filter arts for any of the other classes. However, Force does have a ton of techniques that we wound up getting. Basically 6 new techniques for wind, light, and dark. And then some passive abilities on Force as well. A lot of the other classes wound up getting some little tweaks here and there just to make them a little bit better to play. And then they also wound up getting some passive abilities as well, besides the ones that they wound up announcing during the headline streams and all that. So it's well worth it. And with 10 more skill points, you basically have the entire skill tree. So you don't have to worry about if you make mistakes anymore. Skill reset passes as of right now, you basically hold on to them until you might need them later on, because it's almost, you get everything that's critical for progression now with all the skill points you have. You have 30 skill points in addition to, you know, in total. So that's really good. And one of the big things about armor is we have all of these different armor sets: the Vital, the Vios, the Vitalun, the Viocell. They're all really good armor sets, but none of them are any better than the ones that we wound up getting in the Alia region. So while they're 5 stars, they're kind of weak and lackluster. You know, they don't really add too much of advantage unless you're looking for things like HP. All of the augments that are available now as well also give some sort of HP as well. So it's kind of, they're just trying to stack you with all the health that you need in the world. Not that you need that much health for anything. There's a lot of little Easter eggs in this series. Like if you get on top of the pyramid over here, there's a theme that plays from one of the original Phantasy Stars. If you go over to the top of that mountainous area, the Phantasy Star Online 2 theme song also starts playing. And then you also have at the top of the Retem City, on the very, very top, you also have the Moatube theme song that starts playing from Phantasy Star Universe. So there's a lot of little Easter eggs here and there that just makes it really worthwhile overall if you're a fan of the franchise. There's nothing that I can say that's like overly negative aside from the armor grind. That's the only thing that it's kind of there. I mean, maybe sometimes during the sandstorm deserts, it becomes way too red or way too orange and I can't see shit, but that just might be me. But everything about this update is definitely a step in the right direction. And if they keep on building on top of what they've set here, then NGS has a very bright future. For a lot of people, it might seem very samey. There's not a lot of grind. There's not as much repeatable content. But overall, we have more weeklies and dailies than we did before. We also have just more things to do as a whole. So it may not last you until February, but it'll at least last you until the next event come January. Once you're done with the event, you take another break, you come back in February, all of that new content, new high rank sectors, maybe new level cap, maybe the new level cap, and everything else will be coming out by then as well. So that might be more repeatable content there. But everything overall, definitely good stuff. But if you're on the fence and maybe that's not enough for you, come back in February or even wait till June. June will have a level 60 cap and more story and even more things that's launching, and then also the new PAs and new class skills and new, basically everything should be coming out by then. What they're doing right now is everything's being built up. Like the entire world is being built up. So you don't really have to worry too much about like, oh my God, you know, this feels like crap. It definitely feels like the game is continuously to progress forward rather than take 20 steps backwards, which is what I initially thought this update was going to want to be. I thought it was going to be 2 steps forward, 20 steps back, but I was proven wrong. There is a lot more in this update than I was expecting. So those are my initial thoughts on this. I'll give it about a week. You know, I'll probably be done with all of the available content. Most of my classes will be at 35, give it taking a week, a couple weeks from there. I'll have most of the titles done, but ultimately really good stuff right now. So yeah, those are my initial thoughts on the Retem update. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Stay awesome, stay beautiful, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace. I'm out.